make some boom. I wanna dance all night, all night long.
Hi everyone, and thanks for tuning in. Today it's all about the Excelsior Hotel, location 64 Favo Street, Surry Hills in inner city Sydney. So I'm not sure exactly what date the building actually was constructed, but I know that 2011 was when, the big changes came. So stay tuned to find out what happened to the Excelsior. So Mark Chapman was actually in charge at one point, and there's a great clip on YouTube where he describes the early days and all the fun that you could have if you visited the Excelsior. So it was a small venue, and the intimacy that it provided both punters and musicians was just phenomenal. It was also special because it continued to host live bands even after lots of inner city venues closed, like the Hope Town.
Long on Broadway. They say I'll catch a Greyhound bus.
Now, I thought it important to highlight the incomparable Sue Telfer. Sue was amazing. She booked a lot of the bands at the Excelsior. She was a huge advocate for local artists, and she also worked at or booked bands at the Square in Haymarket and the Sandringham Hotel in Newtown. So Sue worked at APRA. In 2019, she was even awarded the Australian Women in Music Leadership Award posthumously. So Support Act on their website and on the Facebook page, I found this short clip that advertised the Festival of Sue that was held at the Factory in Marrickville in 2019. Bands like X, The New Christ, The Johnnies, Kim Salmon, An Instrumental Cruel Sea, Front End Loader, The Mismade, Penny Ikinger, The Holy Soul, and The On and Ons all performed, and proceeds were donated to Support Act. Now, many folk have penned moving tributes about Sue's passing in 2019. Her friend Tiffany Palmer, she, was a dear friend, as was Craig Barman. I know many people, felt lost and deeply saddened at her passing. And Tiffany said that Sue's influence was really big, her network was so large, and she helped lots and lots of musicians and supported those who may have needed it. And I do know that a lot of money was raised at a benefit concert held for musician Spencer P. Jones, who sadly passed. And I know Sue was part of that, as well as people like Craig Regan, Peter Fenton, and Peter Ross. There's a great website that I'd love you to check out. You probably know it already. It's themusic.com.au, and a great way to have a look at some old drum media magazines, Street Press. What you do is you go to the area called Street Press Archive, you click it, and that actually shows all these back issues depending on what magazine you want. So if I wanted to have a look at Drum Media Sydney, you can see that it goes from the year 2005 to 2013. So if I wanted to have a look at, say, any of those issues, just kind of show all the different drum media street press that was around. For example, you could look at RAM, you could look at Juke in Melbourne, and just others here as well, 3D World, etc. So Reverb. Yeah, really cool. I just wanted to let you guys know about that. So I did manage to find more ads about the Excelsior. So Flora Imbruglia one night, I think it might be 2010 possibly. Then there's this one, Happy Hate Me Nots, Jimmy Swouse and the Angry Darts. There's another one here with The New Christ playing, and 1,000 Needles in Red and others. This one is Front End Loader playing. Then we've got Smudge, and we've got this one again, The New Christ, Ministry of Truth, etc. If there are other bands that play there that I haven't mentioned, please let me know. because it was a long time that, it was a venue. Musician Glenn Cartier, he used to play the open mic nights at the Excelsior, which was pretty popular actually, and he found success with albums like Rattle the Cage. I know the first advertised gig that I was able to find was in 1983, and it was a jazz musician or musicians like Nicole Scott Jazz Band, Now and Then. I also found this ad in On the Street with Cry Wolf and Jim Moore. In 98, I found ads for bands like the Zorros, 21 Faces, Cry Wolf, the Craven Fops. Found ads for Bill Ryan, Steve Sampson, the Varmints, Fun in Acapulco, Undercover Police, the Comets, George Washing Machine, Dick Hughes, the Groove Merchants. In 1994, I found Jeff St. John, the amazing Wayne Jury, who I love, Deadly Nightshades, Floyd Vincent and the Child Brides, Tame and Shard, the Gin House Blues Band, the Duke Savages, Flamin' Barstools. And I know in 96 they started Sundays with Erica's Jive Band. The Impossibles played there, the Rows, One Head Jet. In 97, even Fred Negro made an appearance with his band, the Lazy Fs. The Amazing Woolamaloozers played there. I think the Waifs played there in 98 and the Cananes. In 99, Welter, Club Acoustica, Ragdoll, Ian Skindiver Band. And I know in 2000, Susie DeMarchi had her album launch there. The New Christ played there a lot. Great band Even played there. Oblivia, Eva Trout, Diana Anade, X, the Dandelion Wine album launch was there. Simon Chainsaw, I should say. A Very Klondike Christmas with Chris Mazawak. Yeah, his band played there a lot. The Decline of the Reptiles were there with the Young Doctors. The Dead Rabbits were there in 2011 with Bob Short. And the Hard-Ons played there a lot. It's always good to get, a great insight into a place when you talk to either punters or musicians. And I was lucky enough to chat with musician Kim Volkman. Now, Kim made a name for himself around his hometown of St Kilda. He joined Ian Ryland's band Skin Diver a while ago. He rejoined Ian in a band called the Love Addicts, and they even recorded albums Passion, Boots and Bruises. And the album Family from Cuba was released posthumously in 2012 after Ian's passing in 2006. Now, it was in 2006 when Kim joined X. He also produced a cracker of an album, The Devil Won't Take Charity. I'll put all the links in the description so you'll know where to buy it, places like Bandcamp. Yeah, welcome, Kim.
Thank you, Gioia.
Yeah.
Glad to be doing it.
Awesome. So, Kim, my first question is, so tell me a little bit about the band you're currently in and, and maybe any, bands that you played in the past that you were, excited about.
My current band, although we've probably been going for about 17 years or so now, is Kim Volkman and the Whiskey Priests. Mm-hmm. And I know that's a bit of a mouthful to get through, but, we've released about, I think we've got 3 or 4 releases. The last 2 have been on vinyl, kind of, out front, singing and playing guitar and playing my songs, basically.
Excellent. All originals?
Yeah, all originals, although I will throw in 1 or 2 covers of a, particular favourite at the time.
Excellent, good to hear. And are you mostly playing in Melbourne, Sydney?
Oh, look, I'm one of those lazy kind of musicians. I rarely step out of St Kilda.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
My hometown. I have ventured to Sydney. I went up for an album launch about 5 years ago now.
Yep.
And played at the fantastic Marrickville Bolo.
Oh, perfect.
Got my own blues band as well down here for a bit of fun on the side, playing blues stuff, and also play bass in a band called Shake with we've got a wonderful female singer, Charlie Barker, and every now and again I get called back into the fold to play bass for that wonderful band X.
Yeah, Steve Lucas X.
Yes, exactly.
Amazing.
Right. Yeah.
You also worked with Ian Ryland, the amazing Ian Ryland, in the Love Cats.
Love Addicts.
Oh, Love Addicts, sorry. Why did I say Love Cats? Love Addicts.
Love Cats would have worked just as fine too.
And you played at the Excelsior, didn't you?
We did, yes.
Yeah, how was that?
I've so many fond memories of playing there, and it was like our second home, really, because Ian was living in Sydney at the time, but then he moved to Melbourne, so we were kind of up and down, and we had a fabulous place in Melbourne that we played at, which was the Greyhound Hotel. That to us was almost like the sister hotel to, the Excelsior. The Excelsior was just fantastic. We'd have residencies there, and stay for like 3 weeks above the Excelsior, actually. I'd stay up there, which was a little bit of a lonely existence, I must say, sometimes. But
very handy.
very, very handy, Gioia. Yeah.
Fantastic. And I know the amazing late Sue Telfer, who sadly passed in 2019, I think it was.
2019, yes.
Yeah, I've read so much good about Sue, and the Excelsior was very, very successful because people like Sue cared deeply, not just about the musician, but just the whole culture, society, I guess, where music it was such a huge, important part. I don't know, what do you think Sue may have contributed to the Excelsior that maybe other didn't with their venue? Why do you think it was so successful?
Well, look, I would say, Gioia, straight off the bat, Sue was just, had first off a deep, deep love of music and the people that performed music and the people that went to see music.
Yeah.
And she was very much hands-on, whereas you got a lot of people may, book an act and like, there you go, and they stay home and sit on their couch, watching television. That wasn't Sue. She was there, and she was at every gig, before, during and after, and she was just an absolute delight to hang out with, and just very much hands-on. Sadly, when she passed, it really, well, for me, and I speak for a lot of people, it made going up to Sydney, feel like something was definitely missing.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that was her. And there was a huge benefit for her at the Factory.
Oh, yeah.
And, X performed, Kim Salmon, the Cruel Sea, who hadn't played in years up. The room was just full, and the love that was there for her.
It's so nice to hear that. I did read of other benefits that were there, like the Trade Union Club sort of reunion revival thing, and also I think Craig Barman from the I-94 side, I think him and others, and Sue, I think, also did a benefit show for Spencer P. Jones. So it sounds like a really nice little venue that was very familiar to a lot of musicians. And I think the Excelsior was one of the last venues that kind of still operated, when various other places shut down, like the Hope Town and just other places were closing. And after the Excelsior was sold in 2011, I noticed there was movement over to the Marrickville side of Sydney. So you're from Melbourne, and I've got to ask the question because there is that Sydney-Melbourne rivalry. Yes. I don't know, me personally, when I come to Melbourne and I've seen... So other people like Spencer P. Jones, Shanghai, The Volatiles, Vindicator, the late, great Lewis Tillett, God of Rapture, Low Carmine played there. Now, Steve Lorkin interviewed Ron Keeley recently, and it's a great read. It's on the I-94 Bar website. Radio Birdman played their first real gig at the Excelsior, and I believe not many people attended, maybe John Needham and the late Ali Brereton. There is a good book actually by Murray Engleheart, Retaliate First. It's fantastic. Apparently Mike Hurst saw them at the pub, and there was a photo with a review that was deemed too obscene by the Murdoch paper, The Mirror, and so the piece was dumped apparently. So that's a really good book. You should buy that. Lots of memories. People remember the layout of the place. Ron, again from Birdman, remembers stacking up 2 pool tables, one on top of another to make room. And he said that Carl Rourke, the original bassist, had a rotating yellow light that he wanted to stick behind the kick drum. So that was his memory. And Steve Lorkin did give me some pictures of fantastic pictures, actually. Bands like the Cool Charmers, who had members from Psychotic Turnbuckles, Huxton Creepers, the Johnnies, Buffalo Revisited, and the Hitmen. And I bring that up because they play the last night at the Excelsior, and they were joined on stage by Steve Lucas from X. So BZ Film Co. actually filmed it, so you can find that on YouTube. Edwin Garland, he recalls, or he has some fond memories of the Excelsior because he just remembers that it really promoted musicians and bands, and he just loves the fact that it stayed open after so many venues closed. And he did recall that they had spoken word, poetry recitations, and songwriter nights, and he was there for some of that. So I will put up a list of, YouTube videos that you can check out of bands that played. Some of the ones I liked were, the X videos, Chris Mazawak's videos, Penny Ikinger, the Hard-Ons, and the New Christ. There's some great footage. So thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this vlog. Whatever happened, well, it's now a Mexican cantina and bar owned by Justin Hams. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And yeah, hope you're enjoying all of my vlogs of late. There'll be plenty more in 2025. Cheers.